Hi guys, it's week 8. I'm pretty sure. It feels like I already did week 8, but apparently not. Welcome to the Take It to Heart podcast with Elise. My name is Elise. Welcome back. What have you guys been up to this week? Valentine's Day was good. I haven't worn this as a headband in a long time because when I wore it as a camp counselor, they said, Miss Elise, why are you dressed up as a pirate? It's not pirate week. Anyway, this week I thought we'd do an episode about pet peeves, even though I'm not feeling particularly hateful or annoyed this week. I just needed an idea. And so I found a list of my pet peeves in my notes and took some inspiration, and here we are. So I thought I would share. First, when people stand too close to me in line, I feel like so claustrophobic and I'm going to freak out. I'm going to whip my head around and I'm going to maybe that's just me. I don't know if that's a since COVID thing, but when people stand directly behind me in line and I can't move anywhere else, like there's somebody else in front of me, but I'm not going to get closer to them because that's uncomfortable. And then there's somebody standing directly behind me. Next, people touching me when we're not friends. Now, this was something when I wrote this down like a year or two ago, that was when it was ongoing. Like I had a specific example in my head. I don't really have anybody like this right now, so I don't mean to call anybody out. Again, I do not mean to call anybody out with this list. Most of these are from like a year ago, but they still stand true, but I'm not calling anybody out. Um but I just nothing makes me more uncomfortable. Well, I'm thinking of some examples in my head now, but like one time I was at training for a different job and somebody was like laughing and then they touched my thigh and you know what? They ended up being a creep. So I'm not gonna get sued or anything, I don't think. For saying that. Nobody like went to jail or anything. But they ended up being a creep. And I knew it from the first time because of that one small interaction. It wasn't like they didn't like grab my thigh. It was just like a little like or like one time I had a class with this person who would constantly like wheel their chair closer to me. This has actually happened multiple times. But like their chair closer to me or like whenever we have to talk to each other for the class, like getting so close in my face, like I literally would start putting my like backpack in between me and the person's chair so that they couldn't get closer to me. Should have just said something probably because it went on for a long time, but I avoid confrontation at all costs. So there's that. Next, people who act like the drunk version of them is a different person. I hope that when I say that, you immediately think of somebody who had not because I wish that upon you or like I wish that you had somebody like that in your life, but I hope that you know exactly what I'm talking about because I feel like it is so common. I don't know. It's like if you are that stupid and you're making these horrible decisions where you have to fully disassociate yourself from who you were, maybe I just haven't gone crazy party. Maybe I don't understand, but I don't need to and I won't. So I don't think anybody, I can't, none of my close friends are like this, but like people, when I hear other people talking about it or like people that have been in my life but like weren't my close friends where they just be like, ugh, I can't believe I did that last night. Like, I just, drunk me is just so crazy. She's just a different person. Like I need to be put in timeout. Like, I cannot. Like, you cannot let me go out. You're ridiculous. Shut up. Deal with the actions of, deal with the consequences of your actions. That's just gross to me, personally. Man, do I look like a pirate? Okay. Anyway, next. This is not a specific person. This is just something that pisses me off when it happens or it's around me. Nose whistling. If you don't know what that means, it's basically, I mean, it is what it sounds like. Like if you have like something stuck in your nose and then you breathe out and you can hear like that small little whistle. Whenever it happens to me, I get pissed off. I get mad at myself. Like I need to immediately start digging in my nose to get this out of my nose. And okay, I can be patient. Like if one of my friends, I don't really care. But like if I'm in a silent class and I can hear somebody's nose whistling next to me, then it makes me feel icky. And I know it's natural and I shouldn't be judgeful. I shouldn't be judgmental, but and I'm not really because again I understand, but it's just a pet peeve. Next. I talked about this in the last episode, but phone snubbing. Get off your phone when I'm talking to you. Again, this is not directed at anybody. I can't think of a person who has bad time with this in my life right now, but like I feel bad. I feel bad when I'm like hanging out with other people. I can think of examples where I've been with one of my friends and I'm meeting one of their other friends for the first time, or they're having a different friend over, or like I just happen to run into both of them, and like while my friend is talking, their other friend is on their phone the whole time. I'm just such an empath. I just feel so bad for them. Not really, but like I do a little bit because again, there's nothing more invalidating than telling this big story where you're waiting for a big reaction like, guys, you will not believe what just happened to me. And they're looking at their phone and they could not care less. This one, I don't know if this is as noticeable as I think it is, but people who think that they're above social norms or rules, like, for example, the fire alarm is going off. This sounds really directed because my building's fire alarm keeps going off, but I can't, again, this is not directed. So this is just an example, but like if the fire alarm is going off and you're like, they can't catch me, they can't catch me, I'm gonna stay in my room. Or like you're parking somewhere you're not. Why is it a thing? Okay, actually, there's only like a few people, again, nobody in my close life, people who just park in handicap because they want to. What are you talking about? You have no respect for the norms set up by our society. I don't know. I'm too much of a rule follower, I guess. I don't again, I know I'm not different. I know I'm not different. I just what are you doing? You're not different, okay? You're not cool. Park somewhere regular. Leave when the fire alarm is going off. We have these rules set in place. Maybe I'm just too boring. I don't know. But that pisses me off. I'm trying to think. Oh, another example. I've never stolen anything from a store ever. I'm not like particularly proud to say that, but like that just seems like a regular thing. I don't steal. My next one. People who say that they think they have autism just because they do something quirky or like they do something different for attention. What are you talking about? Literally, what are you talking about? I don't know. I've had few people. you can't you can't just say that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to articulate that, but it's just like what? Nothing loses me more in a conversation of like you're just telling a regular story about how you like to fold your clothes in a certain way, and then you say, "Oh, I think I might have autism." What? I don't know. And of course, autism can show up in multiple different ways. I don't mean to make a comment on that, but I don't know. It seems like a very common thing for people to think that they can just self diagnose themselves with things because they do something in a specific way or a quirky way, or yeah. My next one. This is also kind of specific, but it has applied multiple different times in my life. People who argue so passionately that they don't listen to the other person at all. The whole point, and again, I don't argue that much. This is not something that I have like personally, like somebody's arguing with me. I mean, it probably has happened, but I can't think of, like, I'm not doing this to call something out. But like, typically I find myself as more of a mediator. Yeah, that's the right word. A mediator in between arguments, or like just miscommunications. There have been multiple times that I can think of where like I'm watching somebody argue. This is just the most painful thing to me, I guess. I don't know. I'm watching somebody argue with another person, and then the other person completely like addresses this concern or miscommunication or this, but the other person just keeps going, and they're like, "No, I am right in this way, and you don't make any sense right now." People, people, let's let's join together and hold hands and listen to each other. Or like, yeah, just two friends arguing, and I'm watching neither of them. I'm actively watching neither of them listen to each other. Or like a coworker and a boss, and I'm actively watching them not listen to the other person at all. There's no point. You might as well just stop talking. I don't know. I guess I just really get irked with arguments as a whole. I'm not very good at I don't argue very often. Again, I'm not the best at confrontation, but there's no point. There's literally no point. Anyway, I could get more specific with that, but I probably shouldn't. Moving on. When people play videos out loud, or on like FaceTime out loud, and of course, I know maybe there's an emergency and you need to be on the phone, whatever, that's fine. If we're in a group setting in public and I hear you on FaceTime at full volume, I'm going to reach over and I'm going to hang up. I cannot, I don't know. I cannot have two things going on at the same time. I cannot be hearing little voices. I especially cannot be hearing Instagram Reels playing like with 80 million different sound effects in my ear while I'm also trying to be in a public setting and be normal. Turn your damn phone off. Or like in a public setting, like you're on a bus or something, and some random person is playing a YouTube video out loud. That is kind of funny because I like people watching in that way and like looking over their shoulder and seeing what they're doing. But I it has to be the only thing going on. I have to be able to focus on it and be like, what the hell is happening? Yeah. Again, maybe you look something important up and you're trying to do research and you're looking up a video. Sure. If your phone is at more than this much volume on the side of your phone, turn it off. People who don't look things up for themselves or read the group chat beforehand, or like, if you're close to my life, maybe you're thinking of people that I might be thinking of. I'm not specifically, but I cannot. Literally, what is the point of you having a phone? What is the point of the technological advances that we've had thus far if you're literally gonna set my face and be like, wait, what? What time are we doing things? What? Or like, okay, being in college, being in different like group chats or like different clubs, and people ask you where something is or what time it's at, or like, I don't know, something that would very obviously be specified in like the invite or the information posted already. You have to have some level of independence where you're like, "Oh yeah, I can find this out myself." Because that's just insane to me. My last one, in something that maybe this might be my biggest pet peeve of all: spatially or socially unaware people. And granted, I've been there, and granted, I've been there. Granted, I've accidentally run into a person or two or been in somebody's way. Nothing makes me feel worse, though, but I. If I have to, like, lead you in public, If I have to, if you would be better off on a leash, like a kid leash, don't go out in public. Ever. I'm gonna have a really like hateful day after this. Especially like in college, if we're walking on a sidewalk, if you're walking in front of me on a sidewalk and all of a sudden you flip around, you don't like curve around, like you need to turn around and you, instead of like looping around, you immediately flip around and you walk, or you just stop walking, you slow down to a stop. What are you doing? What are you doing? I Like, I'm gonna give you a dirty look. I will do the same. Like, you know, when you're younger and somebody's smoking around you and you start coughing, I'm gonna do whatever is equivalent to that in these instances. I'm gonna throw my hands up and act like I trip, or I'm gonna be like, like you scared me or something. Because please, this is not your first day on Earth, and I know it's not. Okay, I know it's not. Anyway, yeah. That was my list of pet peeves. Again, these were not directed at people. I am not feeling too hateful, but those are just my pet peeves. I thought it'd be a fun idea to do. If you have pet peeves, comment them down below. Please like the YouTube video. Please, on Spotify, rate it 5 stars. I don't really know. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys next week. I didn't mean to just like speed out of this, but yeah. Let me know if you have any ideas for shows, because genuinely, if you give me an idea, then I will do it. Um, if I'm being honest, I come up with the ideas maybe 10 minutes before I record. So let me know. Yeah, that's it. Love you bunches.